Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Samsung Galaxy A10s. So let's get started. Please join the Kevin Breeze Tech community on Facebook to chat about budget smartphones, ask questions, and help others. So this is the Samsung Galaxy A10s, and your first thought might be, oh wow, Samsung has yet another phone under the A10 name, because we already have the regular A10 and we have the A10e. And you'd think that based on the name, this device has a lot in common with those devices, but the reality is that the A10s has a bunch of things that are different. For example, compared to the A10e, you're getting better cameras on the rear with portrait mode compatibility. You're also getting a fingerprint sensor on the back. And unlike the A10 and A10e, the A10s features the MediaTek Helio P22 processor versus a Samsung Exynos processor. So my point is that this phone is actually very unique compared to the other A10 devices. So I'm really excited to get into this and show you everything that there is to know. Now I paid $134.99 on Amazon for the device, and it's possible that the price might have changed since this video went up. So definitely take a look at the link in the video description. Now this is a factory unlocked phone and it's dual SIM compatible. And as you can see from the back of the box, this device apparently is intended for the Spanish speaking market. But if you're located in the US, then don't worry because this device features compatibility with all GSM carriers. But let's open this up and take a closer look at what's inside. Now I did already boot up the phone and set it up and everything just because I didn't want to have to wait to do that when making this video. But I'm going to put the phone off to the side first and we'll see what else we get in the box. So we get this packet here, and inside we get the warranty card as well as a quick start guide. Now the Amazon listing claims that this phone does not have a warranty because it is an overseas device, so I'm not sure about that. But I mean, generally Samsung has pretty good reliability, so I wouldn't make having no warranty be a deal breaker. And in addition to that, this is a very affordable device at $134.99. So I suppose it's your choice if you want to make a gamble with not having a warranty. Now for me personally, if I'm buying a flagship like the Galaxy S10, then I definitely want a warranty. But considering how inexpensive this phone is, I'm not too worried about a warranty personally. Now also in the box, we get Samsung headphones. We get a micro USB cable for charging and data transfer. We get a SIM card removal tool, and we get a wall adapter here that is Samsung branded. So we'll pull the phone out right now. So here is the device, and like I mentioned, I already booted it up and got it set up. Now this is the blue color. I think it looks really sharp personally. The device is also available in red and black if you'd rather go that route. The device features a 6.2-inch display coming in at 720p with a 19:9 aspect ratio. It's a pretty good looking display, I won't lie. I mean, it is LCD and it's not AMOLED, unlike the Galaxy A20. But it still is nice looking, everything looks nice and crisp and clear, and overall it's a decent LCD display from Samsung. What's hilarious too is that the PPI rating for this phone is roughly about 60 PPI less than the iPhone 11. Now up top here we do have a small teardrop notch that really doesn't get in the way at all, but in that notch we have an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. The phone itself features 32 gigabytes of internal storage with SD card expansion. So 32 gigs isn't anything too crazy, would have been nice to see 64 gigs with it, but I can definitely survive with 32 gigs. There is no wireless charging with this phone, but we do have a fingerprint sensor on the back. So having this fingerprint sensor is one feature that this phone gains over the Galaxy A10 and Galaxy A10e. Now in a separate video, I'll be discussing all of the differences between the A10, A10e, and A10s, but the fingerprint sensor is definitely a nice feature to have, and it's nice and quick. Now also on the back, we have a dual camera setup, so we get a 13 megapixel main camera and a 2 megapixel secondary camera. I'm definitely happy to see that this phone does have 13 megapixels on the rear, especially for such an affordable price tag. And if the camera quality is anything like the camera quality on the A10e, then we should be getting pretty decent results. Now the phone does feature portrait mode, which is the purpose of that secondary 2 megapixel camera. But looking through the viewfinder here, this is how things kind of look with the standard camera. Now you can also switch to a telephoto, and I'm pretty sure this telephoto option is done through the secondary camera, and it's not digital telephoto. I think I'd rather have a wide angle camera in the secondary camera like we get with the Galaxy A20. But the quality looks pretty decent. I'm definitely looking forward to going outside and taking a bunch of test photos and videos. Then flipping over to the front camera, we have two options as well. We kind of have the standard mode, and then you can switch to a little bit of a wider mode. Now I certainly wouldn't call that a wide angle setting because it barely gets wider, but it's definitely a little bit of an improvement if you want to fit more content into your photos. Now this device features 2 GB of RAM, which is a bit of a disappointment. I definitely wish it had more than that because in 2019, 2 gigs of RAM isn't much. But I will be doing a full benchmark test with the Antutu benchmark to really see how that impacts performance. Now, something that's really bizarre about the Galaxy A10s is that it features the MediaTek Helio P22 processor. Now, to my understanding, I'm not aware of too many Samsung devices that feature Helio processors. The P22 isn't anything too special, but overall, MediaTek's Helio line of processors is definitely a dramatic step forward from the MediaTek processors that we've gotten in the past. So based on my initial impressions, the performance seems to be pretty decent. Things are nice and smooth, and I'm not too concerned about the processor being the MediaTek Helio P22. If I had to guess, probably one of the reasons why they were able to add in a fingerprint sensor and a dual camera setup, but also offer the phone at a lower price than the A10 and A10e, is that the MediaTek Helio P22 is probably a cheaper processor for them to incorporate into the device. Now, video recording on the Galaxy A10s maxes out at 1080p at 30 frames per second. The device features a beefy 4000 mAh internal battery, and it does run Android 9 Pie, with Samsung skin laid over. So what's interesting is that on the back of the box, everything is written in Spanish. However, for this little sleeve here, it's in English. And then when I first turned on the device, it had Spanish loaded in as the default language, so I switched that over to English, and I've had no issues, of course. I did notice that this one folder, though, is still in Spanish, not a problem at all, but just kind of an interesting little thing there I wanted to point out. So it's possible that in the future we might be getting a US-specific Galaxy A10s, kind of like what we saw with the A20 and A10. Originally, they were just offered as international phones, but since then we have gotten official US launches for those devices. But if you're using a GSM carrier in the US, like AT&T or T-Mobile, or Metro by T-Mobile or Cricket, then you're going to have very good compatibility with the A10s. Now on the left side of the phone, we have the slot for the microSD card and dual SIMs, so this is dual SIM compatible. So if you have multiple SIM cards, you can load both of them into the phone and use those. We have the volume buttons here on the left side too. Then on the right side, we just have the power button. On the top of the phone, we have the noise canceling microphone. Then on the bottom of the device, we have the speaker. We have the micro USB port, so it does not have USB-C, a bit disappointing. We have the microphone on the bottom, and we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. Then taking a look at the back side of the device, we have the camera module, we have the flash, we have the fingerprint sensor, and the Samsung logo. But I really do like this blue color. It looks really sharp, and I'm definitely a big fan of it. From that in a little bit, that's probably one of the things that still needs some improvements. It's not the most accurate portrait mode ever, but if you don't... So this device is definitely very good for watching video content. Having that massive 6.2-inch display makes it great for watching videos because the videos themselves can be very large. Now, video viewing is limited to 720p, which is to be expected because this is a 720p display. And if you want to, you can crop in your videos to fill in the entire display. Now, one of the downsides, though, that I did notice when watching videos is that I kept covering over the speaker here with my finger. So that definitely is something I need to get used to and not do that. But the speaker quality is decent. It's not the best out there. It's not the loudest, but it doesn't sound overly tinny either. It sounds pretty good, and if you're just going to be laying in bed or something and watching videos on your phone, then the speaker is definitely going to be getting the job done. But I'm really interested to know what you think of the Samsung Galaxy A10s. Do you think this is a better option than going with the A10 or A10e? Really curious to know what you think about that. But in my opinion, for a price tag of $134.99, this device is certainly a very good value. It's really hard to beat that, and I'm sure the price will probably fluctuate up and down since I post this video. But really, if you can get this phone for under $150, I think it's definitely worthwhile. I'm really looking forward to trying out the cameras because I think that's really what's going to set this phone apart from its competition. Samsung typically puts very decent cameras in their budget smartphones, so that's definitely a refreshing thing to see. Because brands such as Umidigi, for example, have better specs on paper compared to phones like this, but then when it's time to take photos, the photos just don't look good. So what I'm hoping is that maybe Samsung doesn't have a ton of RAM on this device or a ton of storage, but they really make up in having good photo and video quality with the device. But of course, I'm gonna have to put it to the test to really find that out. But let me know what other videos you'd like me to make about the Galaxy A10s. But this is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next video.